little bit of a different video. We wanted to kind of share mostly Chloe's story. It involves me a little bit in the end, but mostly Chloe's story about how she experienced spiritual abuse. And we don't want to make this for entertainment purposes. We're not trying to expose them by name. We're not trying to degrade any person. We just want to tell the story. That way, if somebody else is going through something similar, they can maybe recognize some warning signs. Maybe they can feel a little bit less alone. We just, in light of other things happening over, like, across the world and in the YouTube realm, I'm not going to mention the YouTuber by name, but he's starting to expose corruption in the church, and we thought that, you know, if we have a story, then maybe we should tell it. So, yeah, I think we're ready to get started. This is mainly Chloe's story, so I want her to do most of the talking. Yeah, so where did you want to start with, like, how you met? It's a couple, so I guess I'll...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, you can say that it was a couple. And
It was a couple?
Yeah.
You met them when you were a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
You had suffered a major life tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
You can go into detail on that. I don't want to speak for you there.
Yeah, so I was 16 when I met this couple. It was around the time that I did lose my mom. And then I met this sweet lady that was being really... She was really kind to me. I forgot really how we started, like, actually, like, getting into contact. I do remember that she started texting me, so around that time I probably did give her my phone number and everything. I don't remember if she gave me hers.
Well, you exchanged phone numbers.
But we exchanged phone numbers. Yeah, we did. We exchanged phone numbers and started talking. So, and then from then on, we started, like, hanging out. I went
Can
to
I ask
her.
you a question?
Oh, yes.
How old were they, and how old did they... do you want to talk about the age thing?
Yeah, so I was about 16. They were about mid-30s. And they did lie about their age. I thought they were younger than they actually were. And
yeah, so let's go into that, because that was a little bit of something that kind of solidified this whole thing for me. So you thought that they were...
probably like 13 years older. So what is 13 plus 16?
You thought that they were 13 years older than you.
So that's 20. But they're not 13. They're like
Right.
20.
Like 20 years older. So like a 6.5 to 8 year gap of what they let Chloe believe versus what was actually true.
Yes.
To the point where you'd go on, like, say, social media, happy birthday, my friend, she's this age.
Yeah.
No correction, just allowing her to live in that. And, like, if you have a friend who's 20 years older than you, like, that's not necessarily a problem. But if they're lying and saying that they're 13 years older when they're actually 20,
Right.
We're into some weird stuff going on. So,
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
which that kind of blew my mind. We found that after we had stopped talking to them, and I was shocked.
I was very shocked. It's like the truth came out right after. It's crazy how the truth really does get exposed like that. It's like all we need to do is take steps back, and then we start to find out more stuff.
Absolutely.
So from then on, when we started, like, talking, because we exchanged numbers, I would hang out with her. I would go to her apartment, and her husband was always around us. Like, we were mainly just hanging out. It was pretty much not just me and her alone. It was me, her, and her husband. And then without my knowledge, seeds were being sown in my head. Like, I started viewing him as, like, the wisest voice in my life, and it was just, like, a normal thing in my head. I'm just, like, I started just viewing this guy as, like, he's, like, the wisest. So, like, he was like a spiritual leader in like, he knew what was best for me. I needed to follow his voice. Like, I needed to, like, if he said I needed to do something, then I probably needed to do that.
So how did that happen? Like, what were there any, like, specific things that kind of made that be what it was?
Yeah, I think it came from, like, a lot of his opinions that were they were more than opinions. So, like, I remember around the time, like, I was searching for my, like this is when I was single, and I was, like, on the Christian dating app. I was searching for my boyfriend, and I there was this guy that I actually was not attracted to, and that's normal to not be attracted to someone. And he would tell me, oh, there's nothing wrong with that guy that you're not attracted to. Like, he looks fine. It's like, okay, but I'm not attracted to him. So he would make it seem like there was something wrong with me
So what he's doing there is he's trying to get you to reject your feelings and like your personal experience on something that is a big decision, like who you marry.
Yes.
And try to fall under like his opinion of it.
Yeah. Like I need to submit to his opinion. Like
which if you're in the wrong and a guy corrects you and you're just like, you know, I want to get married and, you know, this guy's awesome, but he has a freckle on his nose.
Right.
Like, and then some guy's like, hey, that's not a big deal. Like, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about, like, do you want to share an example, or is it...
Like, example of
the dating thing? Oh, this is... I remember this. Like, so... Like, you... Oh, hold on.
Oh, the freezer wasn't shut. He just went to go shut the freezer. We don't want to lose any of our frozen items, guys.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you'd be like, well, you know, there might not be too much wrong with this guy, but I'm just not physically attracted to him, so I don't think it's wise to pursue. And then he would say, like, they would try to downplay the importance of that, which, I mean, physical attraction is not what it's all about, but there's definitely, like, that's usually the first step. And we don't have to deep dive Song of Solomon right now, but, you know, physical attraction is at least a small part of marriage, especially in the beginning when people meet. So that's just one example there.
And then I had another example. Oh, what about this part? I forgot about this part that was said. It's like, it was like he made it seem like I was just really picky with the men that I was choosing, but a lot of the men I actually was not attracted to, and I think that's okay. And the dating app doesn't have like every single man on the planet on there, so it's not like I'm like rejecting most men anyway. Yeah. So it's like, and then he told me if I wanted a model looking guy, I need to look that way as well. So then he started coming at my appearance. Like, oh, if you want a model looking guy, if that's what you're looking for, you better hope that you look that way. It's like, wait, whoa.
He's trying to second guess like your image.
It's almost like, okay, so I need to accept these average, in his head, these are average looking men. So I need to accept these average looking men because I can't get anything better because look at me. Like, can I get a guy looking better than that?
Right.
Yeah,
I had something and I lost it. What's the next one, the makeup thing?
Oh, the makeup thing.
Oh, before you say that, I just wanted to say, like, we're not trying to nitpick, like, the little things that this individual might have done over time. We're just trying to point out, like, when you have all these things that kind of, like, stack on top of each other, and they're very similar in the sense of, like, breaking down Chloe's ability to look at life and make her own decisions and, like, lean on his wisdom rather than, like, say the word of God or actual wise wisdom. That part's insulting. I shouldn't have said that. But yeah, he's trying to break down her own judgment and try to submit it under him. And so it's not like these can be isolated incidents and somebody can make this mistake and you can call them out for it. They can apologize. Like, that can be okay. It's just when you have all these things collectively. But go to the makeup comment. So, like, as far as I remember, you know what? I don't remember it enough, and it's your story. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I thought that's okay. I can do it. So.
All right. Editing snippet there. Back to the makeup story. Sorry about that.
So, I slipped up with a name, and I didn't want to say a name. Like, that was an accident. I don't want to name him. But, so, the lady that I became close to, she would, like, go to her husband for advice, even when it came to me. And I am not a big makeup wearer.
Not inherently evil, but again, for the sake of all this stuff collectively, we're just sharing the story here.
Yeah, so I'm not a big makeup wearer at all. And I like makeup, though. Like, I'll wear, like, lipstick, lip gloss, and mascara and stuff. But, like, she would, like, be like, oh, well, you need to wear a little bit of makeup. Like, guys like a little bit of makeup. Like, because she was trying to help me get a man. So she's like, you know what? Guys like a little bit of makeup. So she'd give me advice. But then she went to...
That's another thing that's not...
That's not inherently bad.
It's not horrible advice. I mean, obviously, you know, people have different opinions on makeup.
Yeah.
Like, a little bit of eyeshadow, maybe some lipstick, like, not a big deal.
No, it's not a big deal.
Anyway, go ahead.
But I feel like the big deal came from when it had to come from a man's opinion. And it wasn't my man. It was her man. So she went to her husband and said, sorry, I'm like tripping over my words, but She
You,
was
you
like,
went to say his name, but you don't.
yeah, I wanted to say his name and I stopped myself. Thank you for. But she would be like, sorry, I'm like, it's so hard. I'm trying to like talk about, but she would tell him like, don't men like a little bit of makeup? And then he actually had an interesting response to her that I wasn't expecting, but he said that I was still young and I didn't need it.
Right. He said she's still young.
And I don't need it.
Which is... Yeah, the baby.
The baby's crying. We can just like stop it for a second.
Alright, so we're on a walk now. The baby is up and now she'll be quiet in her little walker. We were talking about, I think the last thing we said was that you were still young in the makeup thing, which I thought that was kind of weird because it's like this whole idea of like, it's kind of his way of saying that you're pretty enough to not wear makeup, but then it goes against the whole thing about making sure that you're good looking enough to go after a good looking guy, which is weird. But again, that's just another one of those things that it's like you put this brick on top of that brick on top of that brick, before you know it, you got a tower. It's like this just weirdness stacked on top of each other. But what I wanted to say there is they would do this thing of where this individual, this guy, would kind of speak for all men in generalizations. And I do want to say, like, there's accuracy to that at first, because, like, you can say, in general, like, men are rather... There's a person coming. Yeah, so... To generally say, like, yeah, most men in most cases are, like, visual, logical creatures, whereas women are, in general, mostly emotional, feelings-based, feelings-driven people, as opposed to the counterpart men. Like, that's fine. That's not an issue at all, but it's to say, like, making a habit of, well, let me speak on behalf of men and say that all men feel a certain way. Do you know what I'm getting at? Do you remember? Do you have like an example of this happening?
I actually have an example of that exact generalization that you're talking about, because I remember watching, I don't know if you guys know this show. I think it's on Netflix. It's called Pop the Balloon. So, if I remember correctly, I don't remember.
Girly show, sorry.
Yeah. So if I remember the episode, I don't remember the episode like super correctly. I just remembered what I thought about a balloon being popped. So a guy popped a girl's balloon, and so he popped the girl's balloon because
Which means that he wasn't interested in this little reality show, right?
Yeah. But yeah, so he did that because she had long nails. And I mean, everybody's entitled to like what they are attracted to and everything, but I just had something to say because I was like, I'm confused, which I genuinely was, because I thought that maybe he just wasn't attracted to her at all and it was more than the nails, which is fine because you're not attracted to everybody. That's just fine. But I didn't think that it was like fully truthful that he only didn't like her because of the nails. Like, that's how I felt about it, so I said that. And then he told me, oh, hold on, let me speak for men. Let me speak for men.
Yeah, which that right there, that whole generalization, let me speak for men.
Yeah.
It's like a blanket statement for all men.
Yeah, and he said all men think that long nails on women are ghetto. They don't like it.
Yeah,
and
that's a little nitpicky thing, and you can kind of semantics your way out of that and be like, oh, I just meant in general most men that I've ever met, blah, blah, blah. Okay, sure. There's another example, however, where he would kind of like explain the difference between men and women and say like, so men are visual creatures, right? We can all agree on that.
Yeah.
So let's take this pear that is shaped a certain way, and that can trigger something in a man and make him like trigger a desire in him to where like you're emotionally, physically ready for intimacy. Like, I don't need to use weird words. Like, I think we all know what I mean by that. And it's kind of like portraying that like all men, like if you see something, you have to go have sex right now with your wife, and like it's like this. It's weird. Like, if somebody is some sort of like spiritual leader or mentor and they can't look at a pear without
having like an emergency sexual need, that is a massive issue. That's a huge problem.
It's very much.
And then to go out and normalize that and project that onto another family, like, again, that's weird.
Yeah.
That's super weird. So yeah, that's one example that we kind of felt the need to say. Did you want to kind of pivot into like how they specifically affected us? Did you have an example you wanted to go to?
Do you want to talk about that, or do you want to talk about because I know that you want to talk about the stoic thing that you tried to last time. Or no?
We can skip over the stoic thing.
Okay, that's fine. So sorry guys, we've been like stopping and starting the video, so we're just making sure we're on the same page with like what we're sharing. So you want me to do examples of like give examples of
So the baby thing.
Okay, so I really desired a baby. I really wanted to be a mom. This was in 2024 probably, but we don't have to give specific dates. I just was trying to think of when it was. Yeah. But
so we said that, we have a desire to start a family. We want to do it, and I think at that time it was like we're thinking about trying to get started here in 4 to 6 months, hypothetically.
Right. Yeah.
And he said you need to wait at least a year, and here's my reasoning, which that's okay. We've had another couple come to us and say the same thing, like if that's his advice, like that's his advice, but we chose to not take his advice. And then he so you had asked them for prayer for the baby coming or the pregnancy efforts or something, and his wife is like, oh yes, I'll pray for you, all the good stuff. And then he said like, you'll be blessed in due time, like rejecting our offer
for prayer, like he wasn't gonna pray for us
for prayer. And then we go over there and she's pregnant, and we're hanging out with them, and he said, well, I still think you should have waited.
Yeah.
Instead of, like, you normally would think, like, okay, you have a married couple, a Christian couple, and they're pregnant, like, hey, let's celebrate. That's awesome. That's good news. Like, praise God, awesome. Like, you're going to have a baby on the way. Like, that's fantastic. But his response is, oh, you didn't take my personal advice, and I'm upset about it, and I'm going to, like, slightly degrade you.
Yeah. And that's another example of the spiritual abuse that's been going on. Like, yeah. Okay. So ear. But yeah, sorry, my finger got in the way in the video.
And then we started having these conversations about like, what's going on here? Should we continue to like, have them in our lives in the role that they have?
Right.
And we had at the time considered them like unofficial, like marriage counselors.
Yeah.
And then we decided to just get an actual official Christian marriage counselor.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, with the baby thing and with that, it kind of shifted the dynamic a bit. And we quit going to them with as much stuff. And I'm trying to think if there's a particular situation or if we should just go right to the one that was like kind of the last straw. Are you ready for the last straw yet? Or
yeah, we can say that.
So,
do you want to hold this? Sorry, my arm's like getting tired. I'm gonna switch it like that.
So we had a marriage issue, and we knew we needed help, so we pursued help from somebody that Chloe knew personally, and this woman came over with her daughter and the daughter's boyfriend, and we talked through it, we got through it.
Mm-hmm.
We did all the stuff, everything was like seemingly good, like we got past the problem, right? And was it that weekend? So that happened like during the week, and then the weekend comes and they want to talk to you. They found out about the issue through that person somehow.
Yeah.
And we didn't know that they knew that we were having issues. And then so you're trying to walk to the store. I'm trying to paint this out in a way that's like clear and concise. I'm sorry. We have an issue, we pursue somebody, a friend, they come, issue gets solved, and this couple that we're speaking about finds out about it, not from us. And we don't know that they know, and Chloe goes to walk to a store, right? The bird finder.
Yeah, but before the walking to the store, I did text them because what has been going on is I heard some of the stuff that they've been, well, him in particular, has been texting my husband when we would like, because all marriages have their like ups and downs, and we weren't going like we weren't being the nicest to each other, and we were going through some hard times. We were struggling, and I heard some of the stuff. I also saw some of the stuff that he's been texting my husband about me, and it's like he technically wanted my husband to leave me, and I approached his wife because I talk more like to his wife. I don't really talk to him, and I approached his wife, and I'm just like, I'm very like hurt by the stuff that's been said to my husband, and I was being honest about it because we're friends, and it's like if I'm hurt by you, and like you guys are supposed to be like my close friends, like I should be able to open up about that. So that's all I did. And then they wanted to reach out right away. Like they want to be like, oh, are you available for a phone call? Like it was really, really quick and everything. And I'm just like, well, I don't want to do it when anyone can listen to us, because I did have somebody over and I didn't want her to listen. So I was like, maybe later tonight it'll be a better time. But what ended up happening is I was able to call them earlier than what I said, because I needed to go to the store to get something. So that painted the picture for the store. You can continue.
Right, yeah. So you're walking to the store, they call, or she calls, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they find out you're walking to the store. It's in the summer, and they insist that they take you, because we were like neighbors. We lived in the same apartment complex.
Mm-hmm.
They insisted on taking you to the store themselves. And you're like, all right, whatever. I guess I'll ride with them. And then you go over there, and they do like she does the whole, hey, can you just come in and talk for a minute? Sorry about that. So he did the thing where he crossed his arms and says, so my wife tells me everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like they kind of forced her to have the conversation about it. That's another thing. That's a major point for this whole thing, is like this couple would pry for details about stuff. Like we'd be telling them a story or telling them like a struggle that we're going to, and they just pry for details and details and details and say like, well, I feel like I don't know the full story, so you need to tell me more. And like we had talked to like a healthy couple since then, and it felt really weird because like this guy, like the new couple, the healthy couple, he would say that he doesn't want the details because it puts him in an awkward spot because he knows something about Chloe or about me. But yeah, so that's kind of the point of, well, this was like a reoccurring issue. It was unequal sharing, where they would kind of expect us to share all these like heavy details of what's going on in our lives. The baby's stirring a little bit. But anyway, and they wouldn't really share details about them. But yeah, so you're at the house, they're like kind of demanding details from you, and he bold-faced lied about, he fabricated a conversation that I had with him saying that I said things that I never said, saying that he said things that he never said, saying that we had talked at least 3 or 4 times that month when we talked one singular time. Just straight up bold-faced lying and kind of pitting Chloe and I against each other. And yeah, is there anything I'm missing with that?
Not really. I think like it ended up with us like. It ended up with hold on. Can you pause it for a second?
All right.
So it ended up with
I'm horrible at holding the camera.
Oh, okay. It ended up with me going to the movies with her because they thought everything was all settled and everything, and I thought it was for a little bit too, because I feel like when you're under conditioning for so long, you normalize certain behaviors, but inside of myself, I'm just like, something's still not right, and it's weird.
Yeah, so like that night, I remember getting home from work, because I was at work. This is a whole thing for me that like really, this was like the final straw. I'm at work and they invite my wife over, and like another man sits her on his couch and like rebukes her without my knowledge or anything like that. That's wrong. That's straight up wrong. If that's ever happening, that's wrong. Like that's a woman-to-woman conversation, man-to-man conversation. Like I would never take my friend's wife, have her come over, be outnumbered with my wife, her and me, and like me and Chloe talking to her, and just be like, this is what you're doing wrong. This is what your husband's doing wrong. Even though he's at work, I'm going to speak on his behalf. No.
Right.
Sorry, I'm a little passionately angry about that one. But
Yeah.
okay, back on topic. So like, I had come home from work. You had seemed really happy. It seemed like everything settled. But in the next couple of days, we'd be talking about the conversation that you had, and we'd be unpacking stuff. And I'd be like, hold on, he said that I said that? I never said that. Like fabricating conversations. And I'm like, wait, so he said that we talked that many times? No, we did not. We talked one time that month. Like there was a phone call and then a short text conversation follow-up. You can count that as twice if you want to, but when you say it's 3, 4, 5 times, no, that's a lie.
Right.
So yeah, that bold-faced lying after years of that was intense for me. That was the one that really put me on edge. That I was done with it.
Yeah. And can I talk about like the most shocking thing that happened at the end?
Yeah.
Like this is like we're totally done with them now. Well, mainly Dylan sends a text message.
Well, you know what? Before we do that, I had one more thing that I wanted to add. There was a point where he said something about like our family structure and like trying to speak into like me as a father or something. I forget what the first example was. I remember him crossing the boundary, but I forget the example that made the boundary. But something happened that was out of the ordinary that we were like, hey, I had to go to him individually and say like, hey, if you're going to say something about like my leadership as a man or like how this family structure is or me as a father, do that man to man. Like I'm not saying that you can't correct me or anything, especially if I'm messing up, but it needs to be a man to man, one-on-one conversation.
Right.
And then we had shared a sermon about tithing, which you can have your own personal opinions on tithing if you want, whatever. But he was like convicted or offended by it and is telling me that like I shouldn't, that basically it's something that the pastor said, which is actually biblically true, but he called it wrong, saying that if I were to follow the teaching of this sermon that we sent them, that we felt encouraged by, then I am like an irresponsible father, and that I need to be like, you know, taking things more seriously. I need to do things better as a father because I have a kid now and things are serious. He did that in the group chat of both of our wives and me and him in there. A direct violation of the boundary. He did not call me to talk one-on-one. He's just like, hey, I'm gonna insult you in front of your wife after you'd said any man-to-man correction needs to happen one-on-one.
Yeah, and he's done that a lot, like insult you in the group chat. I feel like most of the rebuking, insulting, and stuff like that was always in the group chat. It never really was to you.
Yeah, and that's another thing with like the whole topic of this video. Like I'm getting a little passionate because I'm a little angry.
Yeah.
Like, just going back over it, there's emotions there.
Right.
If you're a couple and you have another couple who's like this sort of like mentor, counselor, whatever, older people that you look up to, man-to-man correction needs to happen in the private setting, and woman-to-woman correction needs to happen in the private setting.
Correct.
I don't need to hear like another woman talk to Chloe about womanly things in front of me. I just don't need to hear that. If Chloe wants to share that afterward and like both women consent to it, great. Like just like I don't need to correct a man in front of his wife in a conversation that could just be man-to-man. It's just not right.
Yeah. So,
but yeah.
did you want to talk about the last part?
Which was, oh yeah, go ahead.
So the thing that shocked me the most was Dylan set a boundary with him, and he pretty much just said, he brought up like certain things that he said that night, that when he sat me on his couch, and he said it wasn't okay. He was talking about how inappropriate stuff was, and he pretty much just said, I don't think it's like wise for us to really be around you anymore. But he said that I still want to be friends with his wife, and that he would encourage that. But he doesn't want me around him in particular anymore.
Right.
So then what happens is it was like probably shortly after I realized that on my socials, I was blocked by her. Like she blocked me, she was done with me. We've been best friends for a while, and I think the friendship came with conditions the whole time, and we kind of like broke that dynamic, and she just didn't want to be friends with me anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, I have said a clear, I almost kind of understand, because I said I'm not comfortable with my wife being around you, this other guy, and then his wife in support of that feel like she had kind of two choices there. Is she could either, one, continue to be friends with Chloe and accept that another man feels as if her husband is not the kind of person who is able to be around someone else's wife in an appropriate setting, or she could back her husband and reject that. So I don't necessarily like blame her for that, but I mean, it's still very strange that she would have like this lifelong, decade-plus friend that she would cut off because the men got into a thing where they don't want to talk to each other anymore.
Yeah.
It's like you could still meet in a public place for one time, like the movies.
Right.
Let's go back to the way we came first. So you want to kind of conclude any finishing thoughts that you had?
Yeah, so I feel like that last thing that she did, like when I got blocked, like I actually didn't see it coming, so I could have been fooled by who I think she was this whole time, because I feel like her true colors came out during that. Because it's just like when you don't see something coming, you're just like, I honestly thought she would text me and talk about it because she'd be upset about the boundary and want to get like more information on it, but no, I ended up being blocked, and it just shocked me. I'm just like, wow. And it made me really ponder. And it made me really think about the arguments that me and Dylan have been having, which that we allowed ourselves to be under like the authority of them. And I'm just like, wow, like me and him will always have each other. But like everybody else is not always going to be there. Like we're in a marriage covenant. And I feel like that's when I realized we do need to treat each other better because we're in this, sorry, I'm just like, my emotions are high too, so sometimes it's hard for me to speak.
Yeah, so again, the whole point of us doing this is not so that we can vent about how we're mad about how so-and-so treated us, which granted there was anger there for sure, but this is almost a year ago, right?
Yeah, actually, we stopped talking in August, so I think it's going to be like August to April. How many months is that? 8, right?
Yeah, about 8 months.
Yeah, about 8 months. So yeah, it was almost a year ago.
Over 6 months ago, well over half a year.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had contemplated even making this video and how we were going to do it, and I guess this is us just kind of like spilling our hearts out. But yeah, again, the point isn't to try to nitpick at somebody. The point is to be like, hey, if you were catching on to any of these like red flags as we've been talking about it, and you see something like that, it doesn't necessarily mean that the people in question in your life are evil and you need to cut them off or whatever, but it's definitely worth like talking to them about it, because a big thing that we discovered with this couple was that if we had an issue and we brought it to them, what they would do with it was not like healthy. Like we bring something to them. Fill in the gaps for me here.
Yeah, so we would like bring like hurtful things that they have done to their attention, and instead of repenting, they would justify it and just like keep repeating the harm towards us.
Right, so like you have a friend, and obviously, you know, people aren't perfect, we're gonna fall short, and you come to your friend and you're like, hey, you said or did this and it hurt me, and instead of that person going, oh, I'm so sorry, like I don't want to do that again, can you forgive me, can we work it out, instead these people would justify the behavior, explain it away, give you a nice word salad, and then repeat
the harm.
Exact same harm.
Yeah.
And that was one of the more solidifying things for me. It was the bold-faced lying, the justifying and repeating harm. And for me, like those things put together with all the examples in the past, which we probably missed quite a few because we knew them for a couple of years, we knew them for like a decade.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I got to that point.
I'm gonna pause it.